Today's podcast is brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. You never know what tomorrow may bring. That's why it's important to get the right insurance coverage today. At Kentucky Farm Bureau, we deliver the protection and peace of mind your family deserves. In fact, we've been providing folks in the bluegrass with dependable service since 1943. To request a free quote, find your local KFB insurance agent at mykfbagent.com. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
I'm real excited today. We have a great guest.
We do. We have a good guest, and then there's this other guy here.
Yeah, this other guy is here as well, and that's Tim Thornberry.
What up, Tim?
I just love you guys and all the compliments that you give me.
I feel like most of the time when we do this podcast, we're like, it's a party because Tim's here. So we thought we'd do the opposite.
It is a party.
It's hard. I've actually watched you try to get your head through the doorway after we amp you up so high, so we're just trying to
deflate that.
Just trying to get back down.
Well, you know, when you got 800 followers, I mean.
I will say this, when I was a kid and we'd say, Dad, stop picking on us, he'd say, you know, I only pick on you because I love you. Was that probably just to be like, quit complaining and I'm going to keep picking on you? I think that's all it was. But, you know, we only pick on you because we love you, Tim.
Don't make me cry.
And we really,
me cry.
really love him.
We love Tim.
Every time I see him, I give him plenty of love.
Yeah.
So, Tim, I got a question today. And it's going to lead us into our guest at some point. But for funsies, we went around the table earlier, and I think the listeners need to hear it. What was your first car?
Well, the first car that was mine was a 1964 Black Mercury Comet.
Ooh, okay.
Now, I learned to drive on a 1963 Plymouth Valiant with a 3-speed on the column.
Oh, man. Okay. One of them. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty tough. You might win this conversation.
I'm going to let you know that you will easily beat me.
Yeah, I had a 1985 stick shift Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah, a Jetta? That's fancy.
GLI, which was... And
Did you have a sunroof?
Yes, but it was a winder one. You had to wind it open. Seriously, it was great.
I didn't even know that.
That's a thing.
To be clear, no one in my life had a sunroof.
Oh, we were very cool. It was mine and my sister. We were close in age. And then I totaled it. Absolutely.
What'd you do? Was it your fault or theirs?
It was all my fault. I had a car full of boys. This was back when, they just gave you a license. You barely had to do anything.
Those were the days.
Yeah. And then, we were listening to music, having a great time, and I ran through a red light and just drilled somebody. Yeah.
Oh,
that's frowned upon.
That's not what you want to do.
No.
And I totaled it. My sister was so excited because it was really kind of her car that I got to use. Yeah, she was really happy. So.
This is the older sister.
Older sister. I'm the youngest. I'm the baby. So
yeah, that
explains a lot.
So not only did you have to, your parents now all their parents have to know that they were in a car wreck too, all your buddies.
Yeah, so
it's just a lot of layers on that.
I got to hear about that all the time. Don't wreck your car, Matt. So we had a lot of that, but I deserved it. It was really, really bad. It caused a big thing. It was on Breckenridge Lane in Louisville, if you've been in Louisville.
Oh my, did you make the news?
I don't know. No one perished. So it's just good. I don't think it makes the news.
That's what it takes in Louisville.
It's really sad. I worked in news.
Depressing.
It's really bad. Wrecks don't count until that happens.
I need you to know that in Princeton, for you to make the radio or you can just pile up the road for about 30, 45 minutes and they're like, hey guys, this morning.
Not in Louisville.
Just watch out on that road. There might still be some debris.
When I worked in news, it was always they'd hear a bad wreck and they were hold. And then it would get there, and then you're going to do it. It was really, really bad.
That's the saddest
thing. Word. That's why I didn't like it. But yeah, that's what I had. A 1985 Volkswagen GLI Jetta. Very cool.
Did you wreck your Mercury?
No, but I blew the engine up.
How'd you do that? What were you doing to blow the engine?
I'd rather not say.
I would like to think, what is that time frame when you can't get arrested anymore? What's it called?
Statute of limitations.
I didn't run a red light or crash into anybody.
I admitted my mistake here on the podcast.
Was anyone with you?
Yes.
Was it a girl?
Are you trying to be cool?
We don't need to say anymore.
All right, right, so my first car, I don't know what year it was. I think it's like an 03 or an 05. I don't remember. It was a red Ford Focus. Okay, so that sounds like, all right, cool, Ford Focus. It's a
What year
normal.
was it?
Like an 03 or an 05.
Whoa.
That's brand new.
I'm a baby. So it was a hand-me-down. Like, there's 5 of us. So 4, I always say the first 4 that we're all kind of in a little group there. So this car's been handed down. My sister had it before me. It had a lot of issues. It was like every time we would go to a mechanic, the guy would be like, ooh, that year. Ooh. That's not good. Okay, so it's probably going to be this. It's probably going to cost this much. And then lo and behold, it was always like everything always went wrong. So my funny car story that it shook a lot. Like it just kind of gave a little shake, give you a little woke you up while you're driving. So I would pick people up on campus. Like, I had friends in the AGR house. I married one. Anyway, I had friends at the AGR house. I would pick them up to whatever, go to Goodwill to buy apparel for whatever fun event we were doing or whatever. And I distinctly remember them being like, this thing shakes a lot. And I was like, sounds like a free ride's what it is. So why don't you shut your mouth? So that was all fun and games till the AC went out on my drive home from Lexington to Princeton, which is 3 hours, okay? So the AC's out. I tell my parents before I'm headed home, I get no sympathy. They're just like, we'll just get home, we'll work on it. So I have to drive the West Kentucky Parker with the windows down because it's like friggin' 90 degrees. I'm sweating. You can't hear the music. You can only turn it up so high. I'm just the whiniest kid. I get home, meet my dad at the farm, and I'm like, here, you drive it back. And I get in his truck and drive home. Like, I thought I was like, man, I'm really showing him. I get home. My parents got a deal on a Camry, and they had bought it for me. And they threw me the keys when we got home. He was like, how's your AC now? And I cried because I felt so bad. I had been the worst kid ever. I was just like, you guys don't even care. This is BS. You drive it with no AC. See how you like it. And then he throws me a set of keys. And like, we got a deal on this last week. Thought you could use a new car.
We knew all your problems and here's your solution.
And I was just a mean kid.
We're amazing parents.
We're really good people. You didn't even have to buy this, which is not how that worked. We always bought our own vehicles. They surprised me with this. I just stood in the living room and cried. I was like, I'm a bad kid. I am ungrateful. I don't know what happened to the Ford Focus.
It just shook right out of your life.
It shook right out of my driveway.
Shook right out of there.
And I can tell you what the Toyota Camry didn't do. It did not shake.
Well, what's interesting about my story is probably the accident happened. This was kind of cell phones were a thing, but I was probably fiddling with the radio. I was distracted. I was distracted.
That's interesting you bring up that word.
And I was a young person, and I was distracted, and I had a car full of buddies, and I wasn't paying attention, and it caused a bad accident, which leads us to our guest today.
I truly hope you're ashamed of yourself.
It was awful.
That's why we were not in this interview, is because we would never want to fess up to the things Matt would have
I'm fessing. I mean, there's lots of that was bad. It was really messed up.
Yeah. I got to tell you, when you're 16 and you're getting your license and you've got a car, you're excited. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a cool thing, a rite of passage. I've reached this pinnacle.
New freedom.
And so I haven't seen statistics, but I would say that most accidents occur when you're a young driver. Mm-hmm. So that's what makes our next guest very interesting. She is a 16-year-old, one of the busiest people I've ever known. Her name is Bella Franklin, and she has started an initiative called Buckle Up with Bella, and it's gotten statewide attention. And it's about being safe in a car and buckling up and not driving, listening to your radio and being distracted. And just thought it was really cool because usually it's people that are saying, don't do this in a car. People
older folks,
my age,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Talking to kids, not.
But this is a young person. She was recognized by the State General Assembly for this project, and so I think you'll find her delightful.
Yes, sounds great.
I like this because we spend a lot of time on this podcast. We're talking Let's Get Rural, and a lot of times we go very farm, that's on me. We go very farm.
That's what it is.
Equipment safety, ATV safety, lots of, and telling all those that are not on said pieces that I just said, you need to be aware of those. You need to be careful. You need to keep your eyes up. I think just general driving, kids driving, it's just very easy to think, well, I'm pretty good at it. So I've been driving my whole life. I've been driving in the pasture. I've been driving right down this low country road for years and years. And I answer the phone when Dad calls because I got to change direction, go to the next field. Or I got, it's very normal until that one bad thing happens. And so having a kid that's up here to them talking about this is just really, really cool.
Yeah.
It is. It's very interesting. And she's a very dynamic young person. Just think everybody will certainly enjoy the message.
Don't tell her what I did, please.
I think she'll probably know now. Matt.
Well, there we are. All right, well, let's get to some more impressive conversation. Without further ado, I'm Renee Carrico.
I'm Matt Hilton.
I'm Tim Thornberry.
Let's get rural.
Bella Franklin's in the house today.
Hi.
Welcome. I tell you what, I know a lot of busy people, but I don't know anybody as busy as you are. And instead of me trying to tell you everything that she does, I'm going to let her introduce herself and talk about all that she's doing. And then there's a very special project she's involved with. And that's really why we're here today, and we're going to talk about that. But go.
All right, so my name is Bella Franklin. I'm 15 years old from the capital city, Frankfort, Kentucky. I just finished my sophomore year at Western Hills High School, where I'm involved in cheer. I dance at Capital City. I'm also involved at FFA in my school, so that kind of ties me into Kentucky Farm Bureau. And I'm also involved in pageants that I've been doing since I was 7 years old. And recently I got involved last year in the Miss America organization, where I created my service initiative, Buckle Up with Bella.
Wow, I might be sitting here with the next Miss America. How cool is that? And you have people can't see this, obviously, but you have a sash on that says, what does that say? What is that?
Miss Western Kentucky's Teen 2026.
And that's part of the Miss America network? Tell me a little bit about that.
So Miss America is a scholarship organization that is based on 4 pillars, which is service, style, scholarship, and success, and the invisible point, which is sisterhood. And it's so much fun. I've been involved, like I said, since last year, my freshman year in high school. And honestly, if you told me 3 years ago that I was even involved in Miss America, let alone had a service initiative, I probably wouldn't have believed you. This organization has been so great. It's taught me so many valuable skills, and it's honestly the reason I'm sitting here talking to you today. It's taught me so many public speaking skills, and I'm just so grateful for it.
Well, it's amazing. I do get the pleasure of seeing a lot of stuff that's on social media.
Yes.
So you're out there a lot, let me tell you. It's all very good, all very positive. Now, there is a special project that you're involved with. Explain that to me.
So Buckle Up with Bella promotes seatbelt safety and limiting distracted driving. I created it last year as my service initiative. And I've grown up with my dad, who is an executive advisor of the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. So I've always been involved with, seatbelts and limiting distracted driving and the effects that not wearing your seatbelt can have. And so it's always been super important to me because over 50% of annual highway fatalities involve people not wearing their seatbelts. So I think it's really important to, promote it. And also I had the opportunity the past year and the year after that to be involved with the Safe Teen Driving Challenge. The first year I actually got to voice over the commercial, and last year I actually got to be in the commercial, which was super exciting. And that also gave me a little bit of background and helped me promote my service initiative.
Now, do you have your driver's permit?
Yes, I got it last year. Fun fact, I turned 16 in 3 weeks, so it's super exciting. I get my intermediate, and I'm ready to drive on my own.
Now, when I was 16, I won't tell you what I was doing when I was driving, but it had something to do with a quarter mile, but we will not talk about that anymore. Highway safety, I remember when the seatbelt law first was enacted, there was a grace period, and I got caught during the grace period when I didn't have my seatbelt on, and a young police officer politely told me to buckle up.
Yeah.
And so I've been around before that happened and since then. So that's seems pretty important. Do you find other people your age are in tune to that?
Yes, so there's been many instances where I've been in the car with my friends who can drive now because of House Bill 15, being able to drive earlier, that, haven't buckled their seatbelts. And even before then, when they didn't have their license and they were just in the car in general, not buckling their seatbelts. And I think it's really important for me, and personally, I have just told them, hey, buckle your seatbelt, because it's very important. Because something I've seen since I was younger that actually the Kentucky's Office of Highway Safety has, it's called a rollover simulator, and it shows what can happen if you don't have your seatbelt on. And it shows a car that flips over when people don't have their seatbelts on, and they have like little crash dummies in there, and they fly out of the car, which is super crazy. And it can really just put it in perspective of how important your seatbelt is.
Now, you said House Bill 15. I noticed you were at the Capitol not long ago for a little recognition. Tell me about that.
So I was recognized by the House of Representatives, which was super duper exciting. Representative Pfister was so sweet. He brought me in. We talked about it. It was super exciting. I actually got to watch the video because I was in Florida when they actually had it in the representatives, and it was super exciting. I'm just super honored that I was even recognized on that level for efforts that I've been doing, and it really shows that my work is making a difference.
How did it feel when you got out there and they were talking? And I'm sure they all clapped and everything. How did that feel?
It was super exciting. Like I said, it just felt like such an honor that what I was doing was like impacting other people, because when I first started it, I was like, oh, it's a small little thing I'm going to do to promote seatbelt safety and just go into elementary classrooms, talk about the importance of it. And the fact that it's actually reaching the Capitol level now is super exciting.
So you go to other schools, elementary schools?
Yes.
How's that? What are those kids? They're at a pretty young age. They're probably not thinking about this yet. Mm-hmm. Is this a way to sort of, getting back to FFA, plant the seed, do you think?
Absolutely. So I love going in elementary schools. It's one of my favorite parts of my service initiative. So when I go into these elementary schools, the foundation that I kind of teach off of is an acronym that I created, which is SAFE, which stands for Seatbelts On, Awareness at All Times, Find a Safe Ride, and Every Life Matters. And my whole lesson, I go in, I teach them this acronym. I give different examples of what being safe in a car can look like. And then I have them at the end sign a buckle up pledge, which basically promises that they're going to wear their seatbelt, they're going to encourage others to wear their seatbelts, and that they're going to stay undistracted in the car. And it's just super exciting to be able to go in and see these kids, because I've gone into classrooms and I come back a couple of months later to a different classroom and I see the kids walking down the hallway and they're like, hey, it's Buckle Up with Bella. And it's super exciting. I just love seeing how much of a difference I can make in their lives, especially because of House Bill 15. They're going to be driving earlier, so it's really important.
Now, notice when your mom came in, she's got a T-shirt on that says "Buckle Up with Bella."
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's got. She's in the other windows. So you got a lot of support here, it looks like.
Absolutely, yes. I'm super grateful, especially my dad. He's really the one that got me involved with highway safety in the first place, and he's been really an inspiration. And especially my mom, she's been my rock throughout this whole experience. She goes with me to all the classrooms, goes with me to the House of Representatives. She's kind of my chauffeur because I can't drive by myself yet, but I'm super grateful for her too.
When was the first time you got behind the wheel and got on the highway?
Oh my goodness, it was a start. We started in parking lots just driving around, and then we eventually got to the road. It was super exciting. At first, my mom, did the imaginary brake on her side, held on to the little passenger, the passenger side, but I've gotten better. I would like to say I'm a pretty solid driver now.
It's kind of scary out there, though, sometimes, isn't it? Because people that are much older than you and been driving a lot longer, they do some pretty silly things some folks do on the road. I see it every day.
Absolutely.
Coming here. So I'm sure that you have seen that as well. So
yes.
What are your thoughts when you see somebody that either doesn't have their seatbelt on, or they're doing something, they run a red light, or some of the other things? What goes through your mind when you see that?
I think it's really important to take mental notes, hey, don't do that next time. For yourself, you can learn from others. And so I think that's a part of House Bill 15 that's been super great about 15-year-olds being able to drive so early. It gives them a full year of practice instead of just 6 months when they turn 16 before they get their intermediate. And that's something I've heard my parents talking about too. They're like, at first I was kind of scared because you're 15, you're young, and you're going to be on the road with all these older people. But it truly has been such an advantage in itself of just being able to get the extra practice on the road and make mistakes, obviously not crazy ones that get you into a wreck, but make simple mistakes that you can learn from next time and use in your future to keep others safe too.
Well, I do still make my share of mistakes. I'll be honest about it. Now, with other young people, what are some of the things, how do you help them advocate for safe driving? Because especially with young guys, I know the first thing they want to do, they want to see how fast they can go and things like that. So what are some of the things that they can do, and how have they been? How have they received this when they talk to you, people your age? I think I asked you that earlier,
Yeah.
but
So for me personally, when I go into classrooms, like I said, I teach them the acronym SAFE. So seatbelts on, when I talk to them about that, I'm like, it's a simple 1, 2, 3 click, and you're all buckled up, and you can protect not only yourself, but others in the car as well, and even other people who are on the road. And then awareness at all times, putting your phone down. And then when I go to elementary classrooms, I say, putting your toys away, turning the iPad down, just so you don't distract the people who are actually driving. And then find a safe ride, F. It's basically just being in the car with somebody you're comfortable with and knowing that you're going to be safe at all times. And then E is every life matters. So when you complete all these steps, when you put your phone down, when you buckle your seatbelt, when you're comfortable with somebody in the car and you know you're going to be safe, you protect not only yourself, but every single person on the road. And that's definitely something that I not only teach the elementary schoolers, but the people my age too.
have you gotten in a car yet and had to remind somebody to buckle up, or had to remind somebody to turn their phone off, or had to remind somebody of something?
Yeah.
I know not your parents, but have you done that? And what do they think?
Absolutely. So there's been many times where I get in the car with my friends and, they're excited. It's their first time, not necessarily their first time, but a couple of their first times driving with their friends in the car. And, they want to get on their phones. They want to look at Snapchat. They want to change the music. And I just remind them, hey, there's other people in the car. There's other people on the road. You got to be safe. You got to protect all of us to get us from point A to point B without anything happening.
What do they say to you when you tell them that?
At first they were kind of like, Bella, don't go all buckle up with Bella on us right now. But but I think it's really important, You protect not only yourself, but you protect everybody, like I said. And it's just really important to me, too.
At some point, and it will be unfortunate, somebody that you know or you've talked to and you've inspired to be safe, but as safe as you can be, sometimes things happen. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be somebody that something might happen, and because of what you've done and what you've said in this whole program, it could be a game changer for them. How does that make you feel to know that what you're doing could save a life one day?
It's amazing. So actually, a couple of weeks ago, I was at a community event. I was at Frankfurt's 250th annual birthday party, and I had a Buckle Up with Bella booth set up. And I was just hanging out with the kids, talking to them about being safe. And then this guy came up to me who was actually Sheriff Depp. And he just talked to me. He was like, your story really touched me because my brother actually passed away in a car accident because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. And he said, it's just really inspiring to see you at such a young age advocating for something that is so important that can really save people's lives. So that really touched my heart. And that's definitely probably my favorite part of this whole experience, just seeing, how I'm impacting kids, but also how I'm impacting people who make a difference in our lives every day.
Oh, is there one part of this program that's been a favorite of yours so far? Is there something you like doing more than another?
I definitely like going to see the kiddos. I love seeing kids. I love talking to them about being safe. And, when I go into a kindergarten classroom, the first thing they're going to look at is the shiny tiara on my head and be like, oh, it's a princess. Oh, my gosh. And I'm like, guess what, guys? We're about to talk about your favorite thing ever, seatbelts. And they're like, you know what? You're a princess, so we're going to listen to you, okay? And that's definitely probably my favorite part going in. Like I said earlier, recognizing those kids who have seen me before and they're like, buckle up with Bella, and just seeing people in the community, because when I go to the community, I try to give out buckle up with Bella bracelets everywhere I go, and seeing people wearing those still is super exciting just to see that, I've made an impact. They remember what I taught them, and it's really making an impact in everybody's lives.
Now, I'm going to go to FFA for a minute.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot going on with FFA. Does this connect in any way to that organization and what you're doing there?
Mm-hmm. So, fun fact, my SAE project is actually service learning. So I connected there with Buckle Up with Bella, and it's been super exciting because, I was off and on about what my SAE project could be. I was thinking about a garden or going to help my advisor with his farm, with animals. And then I was like, service learning, I could do what I'm already doing right now and teach people about seatbelts, which is super exciting. And I love being able to connect two things I love most, Miss America and FFA and seatbelts, into one.
Now, there are seat belts on farm equipment, too.
Yeah.
So this can actually carry over not just on the road, but on the farm safety and everything. Have you talked about that with some of your friends in FFA?
Absolutely. So I was actually talking to my advisor. I compete in the prepared public speaking portion in FFA. And originally I was thinking about doing my speech on, how farmers wear their seatbelts and the importance of it, because sometimes there's some laws out there where they don't have to wear their seatbelts sometimes. And I think my philosophy was I wanted to talk about how them not wearing their seatbelts could impact them, because tractor turnovers are real. things like that are real and they happen all the time. And, wearing a seatbelt sometimes in those instances can help save their life. And that's something that I wanted to talk about in my speech.
There's a group of folks at the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, and this is what they do. And I don't know whether you've met any of them yet or not.
Nope.
But you probably will.
I'm excited.
Because they have a rollover demonstrator, a tractor, and everything, and safety is paramount with them.
Absolutely.
And so I probably know some people. Maybe we could get you guys together because they do a very important job, and this really would connect. I think they'd be tickled to death to see a young person interested in this. How long does this last? Do you plan on this going beyond your high school years?
Absolutely. So I hope to continue Buck Up with Bella throughout college and just throughout my life in general, because it's super important. It's something that I always want to advocate for because it's something that's never going to change. Every single person gets into a car every day. Every person should buckle their seatbelts every day and put their phone down and be not distracted in the car. And that's another reason why I created Buckle Up with Bella, because everybody, their service initiatives, sometimes they do it on literacy or cancer research or things that impact, certain groups of people. I wanted something that impacted everybody and that everybody could relate to. And that's something great about Buckle Up with Bella that I hope to continue in the future, is impacting every single person I come into contact with.
Now, on social media, there's a thing, like you do the reels and the little videos. Have you done a lot of that with Buckle Up with Bella as far as videos and things like that on social media?
Yes. So I have a segment every single Sunday called Safety Sunday where I share fact or statistic about safe teen driving, or not safe teen driving in general, but just driving in general. And, some facts that can help teens since we're younger on the roads now. And it's super exciting. I post every Sunday and, people see it. And it's really exciting to hear them learn my statistics that I put out there.
All right, people out there, give me a couple of those fun facts. What are some things that people should know statistically about safety in the car and whatever you talk about on Sundays? Yeah. What are some of those?
So statistic-wise, my favorite one to throw out there is over 50% of annual highway fatalities involve people not wearing their seatbelts. And because that's something super powerful, half the people in a room could be involved in an accident and pass away because they weren't wearing their seatbelt, which is a super, super scary thought to think about, but it's real life. And then another thing I talk about, not necessarily a statistic, but just a reminder, put your phone away, seatbelt on, 1, 2, 3, click, all buckled up. That's something that I teach classrooms, and it helps them remember. And that's definitely something that I put on there too.
And, putting your seatbelt on is a pretty easy thing.
Yeah, all it takes.
Because my car makes a really ugly noise if I don't. Mm-hmm. So it's very simple. It's not like it's rocket science, right?
Nope.
Do you tell people that, especially us older folks, you say, hey, come on, this is an easy thing to do?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Well, how has this maybe changed you from the time that you maybe thought of the idea? Is there some things that you've learned, some things that you do now that maybe you didn't before? What are some of the things that this has changed for you?
Definitely that one person can make an impact, because like I said, this just started as a small thing, me going into classrooms, teaching others about the benefits of buckling their seatbelts and limiting distracted driving. And now, like I said, it's on the representative level. It's at the Capitol now, which is super duper exciting. Being recognized by Kentucky Farm Bureau, being here with you all today, is something I never thought I would do. And it's definitely helped me grow in my confidence, because I was a shy little girl a couple years ago. If you told me to come
No, I don't believe that.
If you told me to come here and talk to you probably 5 years ago, there's no way I would have done it. And I've definitely grown in my public speaking skills because of this, but also because of FFA. That's helped me a lot too. But I think definitely I've just grown as an individual overall, just matured and really learned that, one person can impact everybody and make a huge difference in the world.
Well, I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Now, before we leave, I got to ask you a little bit about the pageant life. Miss Kentucky is sat right there before, and we've had interviews with her.
Yeah?
Yes.
Very cool.
So what comes next on the pageant trail?
So next week, I actually get to compete in Miss Kentucky's Teen down in Bowling Green, which is super duper exciting. So today's Thursday, so next Wednesday actually is prelim day, which is super exciting. We have an interview with the judges. Then we do our talent, our fitness, our evening gown, and onstage question. And then a week from tomorrow is teen finals, which was when the new Miss Kentucky's Teen will be crowned, which is super duper exciting. And then whoever wins Miss Kentucky's Teen gets to compete in Miss America's Teen in September.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, of course, we know that you're going to take this all the way.
Hopefully.
Wow. Bella Franklin, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it. I've learned a lot by listening to you, and I hope our listeners have as well. And we will make sure that we buckle up out there when we get in the car, and we'll always think about you when we do it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks so much.